watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Live at 4. Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes is leaving Madison. We learned today he will be the next chief of police in Seattle, Washington.
The mayor of Seattle is announcing that today. This appointment comes at an extremely difficult time for us here in Madison, following this week's shooting at Abundant Life Christian School. Barnes addressed that in a video message to the city of Seattle posted earlier today.
Unfortunately, I cannot be there to greet you in person due to the tragic circumstances we're currently facing here in Madison. In light of the recent school shooting that claimed the lives of 3 and left many others injured, my priority must be here with our community and the dedicated men and women of the Madison Police Department.
Barnes took the job as Madison's chief of police back in 2021. Some of his biggest accomplishments here in Madison include helping to create the CARES Alternative Response Teams and getting a body cam pilot program up and running while in Madison. And he was also a finalist for 2 other out-of-state police chief jobs in Chicago and San Jose, California. Barnes' appointment in Seattle will still need to be confirmed by the Seattle City Council.
And as far as who will take over his position here in Madison, the city's Police and Fire Commission will choose his successor. It will also appoint an interim chief.
Our Will Keneally sat down exclusively with Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway. So, Will, what did she say about Barnes' departure?
Well, one of the biggest questions still out there is, after the news of Barnes leaving, what will that mean for the future of this investigation? As part of our one-on-one interview with Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway, we asked her about the future of what that investigation will be.
He will obviously transition everything that needs to be transitioned during the month of January. We have an incredibly professional team at the Madison Police Department, and I have a lot of faith in their ability to provide continuity to the investigation and do whatever needs to be done.
Mayor Rhodes Conway says that Barnes is delaying his departure from Madison until February. We'll have more from our conversation with Rhodes Conway at 5 and 6, as well as the Sunday at 10:30 on For the Record.
Will, thank you. Let's get a look at your first sworn forecast. Meteorologist Blaze Keller joins us now from the patio. Blaze, how's it feeling out there?
It is not too bad out here. We've got that fresh snow on the ground, and for many, this has been our biggest snow of December so far. Madison, at least at the airport, picking up 4.7 inches across Dane County, though. That total may be slightly more or less. Localized higher or lesser amounts may be possible across all of central and southern Wisconsin, but many of us picking up at least a half a foot of snow, if not more. Arena, Boscobel coming in at 6 inches. Baraboo and Brooks coming in at 8 inches of snow. Columbus 5.3, Soldiers Grove 5.5. Gratiot across southwestern parts of the state along the Illinois-Wisconsin border as expected. Not as much snow, only about a 1 inch there in Gratiot. So again, it really was kind of that cutoff further to the south and west, drier air, maybe not as much moisture contributing to those lesser snow amounts. Temperatures are in the 20s for the most part, 27 in Janesville and Platteville and Mineral Point, 26 in Lone Rock, 25 in Madison, 26 Sauk City, Wanakee, 26 in Mount Horeb and Perry as well. It's going to be a cold night and a cold Saturday. The reason is partially because of actually the fresh snow. Its reflectivity is going to push a lot of that heat back into the atmosphere, something we call albedo. Fresh snow has reflectivity anywhere between 80 to 90%, so that's the reason why it's going to be cold not only this evening as we head into those single digits to low teens, but also into your Saturday as well, when we'll only hang out in those 20s. But a warm up is expected after Christmas. We're going to talk about that and your Christmas and Christmas Eve forecast in the full forecast.
Thanks, Blaze. The community is continuing to support anyone affected by the deadly shooting at Abundant Life Christian School.
Tanisha Shaw talked to the founder of a local nonprofit that's hosting a community grief session tonight.
Our whole community is grieving. We're having a space of unwellness, and we're putting this project together so we can help push our entire community into wellness by being able to grieve as a whole.
Madison nonprofit Seeing is Believing is hosting a community grief session Friday for anyone impacted by the deadly shooting at Abundant Life Christian School on Monday.
What I hope to do is, one, give the young people the words that they need to be able to express how they feel about this event and any other pain and trauma that they might be experiencing, as well as helping the parents to be active listeners and also to be able to ask the right questions to make sure that their children are okay.
The free event will be discussion-led with activities. Patricia Clifton founded the organization in 2017. She decided to host the event after hearing from families.
We want people to know is that at some point in time, every youth will have a moment of unwellness. Every person will have a moment of unwellness. And what our program does is we create triage to push them out of that state of unwellness into wellness.
Reporting in Madison, Tanasia Shaw, News 3 Now.
Tanasia, thank you. The event is underway right now until 6 p.m. at My Art Studio on Mifflin Street. Seeing is Believing said they also have a virtual option available. And you can find all of our coverage on the ALCS shooting and the community's response on channel3000.com. You can receive updates on the investigation directly to your phone with that free Channel 3000 mobile app.
AAA expects Wisconsinites to travel in record numbers for the holidays. It predicts 2.39 million Wisconsinites will travel 50 miles or more from home, about 76,000 more travelers than previous record high last year. Nationwide, AAA expects 3 million more travelers than last year, with an estimated 119.3 million people traveling 50 miles or more, with both the streets and the skies expected to be bustling from Saturday through the new year. The association has some advice for those planning to fly or drive.
The earlier you can go on any given day is going to be better. Throughout the week, afternoon hours are going to be much busier on the roads. In terms of the airports, that's where, you may see weather disruptions, and you can have your flight disrupted by weather, even if it's not snowing where you are, even if it's not snowing where you're going. Any sort of storm system anywhere in the country can have a ripple effect on connecting flights that could lead to a cancellation or a delay in your flight.
Another thing to keep in mind, AAA will activate its Tow-to-Go program on Christmas Eve, and it ends after New Year's Day. That's a last resort for people who've driven themselves somewhere, but they're unable to get home because of intoxication. In that case, call 855-TOW-TO-GO. You can use it even if you're not a AAA member. It's free, no matter your circumstance.
And that travel could be affected if lawmakers don't reach a deal by midnight on government funding. The agents who screen travelers and the air traffic controllers directing the planes won't get paid if the government shuts down. This travel crunch could put pressure on Congress to break the impasse. Back in 2019, a 35-day government shutdown ended after 10 air traffic controllers decided to stay home.
And coming up next on Live at 4, we'll show you lawmakers' negotiations on keeping the government going and how the president-elect is influencing the likelihood of a deal.
And a year in review, a look back on the top stories of 2024 as the year nears its end. Welcome back. At least one person is dead and 50 are injured after a car drove into a Christmas market in Germany. It happened 2 hours west of Berlin. Local media is reporting the driver of the car is a 50-year-old man and has now been arrested. Officials suspect the incident to be a deliberate act.
The U.S. government is hours away from shutting down unless Congress can pass a spending plan. The House is set to vote on that plan within the hour. It comes after lawmakers failed to pass a new Trump-backed GOP proposal to fund the government last night. If a shutdown occurs, any agency deemed non-essential will have its employees' work disrupted. Social Security checks will continue, though.
The Biden administration is canceling more student loans. The White House announced an additional $4.2 billion in debt relief for nearly 55,000 public service workers. It's part of the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, which is designed to erase loans after 10 years of service. Altogether, the Biden administration has erased nearly $180 billion in student debt for about 5 million people.
A new report out today from the Commerce Department shows the Federal Reserve's go-to inflation gauge is heating up again. The Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index rose 2.4% last month. That's up from a 2.3% increase in October. But it's still not as much as economists were expecting. They thought the annual rate would increase because of comparisons to last year, when inflation cooled rapidly. And even though inflation has cooled substantially this year, cost of living concerns are growing as 2025 approaches.
We can talk until we're blue in the face about how inflation has come down from 9% to now below 3%. But the fact is, prices are still going up. They're going up the most on necessities that households buy. And your income may not have been able to keep up with that or may not have caught up to it yet.
After issuing its most recent rate cut, the Federal Reserve signaled fewer and slower cuts in the near future.
Members of Starbucks Workers United are striking today. The strike started at 3 key markets for the company: Seattle, Chicago, and Los Angeles. But the union says it will spread to hundreds of stores by Christmas Eve unless the company makes a commitment to honor a framework to reach the first union contract at the company. Starbucks says it's committed to reaching a deal and is willing to return to the table, and that the union cut off negotiations. There are several unionized locations here in Madison that could join the strike if the two sides don't reach a deal.
And let's get a look at our first sworn forecast. Meteorologist Blaze Keller is back inside. It was looking pretty festive out there on the patio.
It was very nice. I love when the snow has fallen and it's just very pretty across the area. And that snow hopefully will stick around into the Christmas time frame. If you want it to be a white Christmas, you really do want it to stick around, because pretty much from here through Christmas, we're not anticipating any big, heavy snowmakers. Maybe a light mix there Monday into Christmas, kind of towards the end of Christmas. But it's after Christmas into the start of the new year that we watch as temperatures really start to climb well above average. But let's focus on what we can expect here in the days leading up to Christmas, and then of course your Christmas Eve and Christmas forecast. A high pressure system is moving in beyond this latest round of snow, so maybe a few flurries as we go into your Saturday. Partly sunny to mostly cloudy as we go into your Saturday. Winds are going to be light. We're not going to get the clear skies that we would also maybe see with high pressure systems. We usually get clearer skies and light winds. This time around, we'll just get the light winds. As we go into Sunday, winds are going to pick up in speed, and they're going to turn out of the south, because we're going to watch as a clipper system moves through the area. This is going to bring more snow to parts of Michigan, the UP, as well as central and northern parts of Wisconsin. Across southern parts of Wisconsin, our forecast area, we may see a little bit of snow and a rain snow mix, as most of that moisture is unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on who you ask, going to fall further to our north. And as we jump ahead to Christmas Eve and Christmas, no big weather systems on the horizon. We're looking to stay mostly cloudy for your Christmas Eve, maybe a few flurries Christmas Eve into Christmas. And then as we look ahead to Christmas, we'll once again be cloudy, but southerly winds will have taken over, and we're going to watch as not only temperatures start to climb, but maybe some rain, or at least a mix as well as rain, moves in starting Christmas night into that following Thursday. Temperatures are going to stay pretty mild both Christmas Eve and Christmas, in those low to mid 30s, not only Christmas Eve, but then again on Christmas as well. It's after that temperatures really start to climb back into those low to mid 40s. So here's kind of a more breakdown of your Christmas and Christmas Eve forecast. Winds are going to be light both days, but turning out of the south for your Christmas, mostly cloudy and mild both days. Tomorrow, we're going to hang out in those teens and 20s. We can thank the fresh snow for the cooler temperatures along with some afternoon cloud cover. This is our most significant snow, what just fell of December so far, bringing up our total to just nearly 5.5 inches in the Madison area, but we're still about 6 inches less than what we would normally see during an average December, which is about a foot of snow. As I mentioned, the snow that just fell, if it can stick around, it will help our chances for White Christmas. Historically speaking, Madison, we have a 66% chance of seeing a white Christmas, and a lot of Wisconsin normally does see a white Christmas, historically speaking. But with warmer temperatures on the horizon, it may be a little bit on the difficult side to really confidently say that we will. Average high of 28 degrees is what we normally see for Christmas, but as you're about to see here, our temperatures will be about 10 or so degrees warmer than that when Santa delivers those presents, and we are opening them Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we're into the 40s starting Thursday through Sunday of that following weekend.
Thank you, Blaze. From catastrophic storms along the coastlines to major space milestones, this year has packed a lot of historic moments.
Can you believe it's almost over?
No,
This is crazy.
I can't. I don't even know time anymore.
I don't even know time anymore either. But as this year comes to a close, we're taking a look back at some of the most memorable moments.
We took off in 2024, looking to the skies, but hit unexpected turbulence quickly when cell phone video showed the harrowing moments after a door plug blew out midair on an Alaskan Airlines flight.
There was no one seated.
It was the first of several safety issues for Boeing's 737 MAX that prompted the National Transportation Safety Board to launch an investigation and issue urgent safety recommendations. Big courtroom drama captured the attention of people across the globe.
Mr. President!
Former President Donald Trump was ordered to pay nearly $500 million in 2 unrelated civil trials before his New York criminal trial kicked off, and was later found guilty of 34 felony charges for falsifying business records.
The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people.
Hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs was arrested in Manhattan on charges of sex trafficking and other federal charges. He has pleaded not guilty.
We're praying for all the victims of the Key Bridge collapse.
Tragedy on the water in the early morning hours of March 26 when a 213 million pound cargo ship hit a support pillar for Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge. 6 construction workers were killed in the collapse. Celebration turned to terror when shots rang out at a Super Bowl parade in Kansas City.
Good morning, you may be seated.
In Michigan, Jennifer and James Crumbly were sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison, marking the first time ever that the parents of a school shooter were legally held accountable for their child's actions. A days-long manhunt captured the attention of the nation after the CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson, was shot and killed in Midtown Manhattan in early December. The alleged gunman, 26-year-old Luigi Mangione, was later captured in Pennsylvania at a McDonald's. It's anticipated he'll plead not guilty. Helene made landfall in Florida as a Category 4 hurricane before cutting north through the Carolinas, causing devastating flooding throughout western North Carolina. At least 232 people died in 6 states. Less than 2 weeks later, Hurricane Milton slammed into western Florida as a Category 3 storm. 2 major deadly storms, millions of people impacted, billions of dollars worth of damage left behind. October 7th marked 1 year since the deadly terror attack by Hamas, where nearly 1,200 people in Israel were killed and hundreds were taken hostage. In the year since, over 44,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza by Israel, and nearly all of the 2.2 million people living there have been displaced. Protests sprung up at college campuses across the country in response to the ongoing humanitarian crisis. In Syria, Bashar al-Assad's regime fell as a rebel coalition swept into Damascus, taking control of the capital and forcing the longtime dictator to flee the country. As the war in Ukraine raged and U.S. relations with Russia continued to deteriorate, one bright spot was the return of 3 American citizens as a part of an elaborate multinational prison swap. The election rematch between President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump dominated much of 2024 until an unexpected moment following CNN's presidential debate.
With the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with.
Biden dropped out. Vice President Kamala Harris moved up to the top of the ticket. During the campaign, former President Trump survived not one, but 2 attempts on his life. Come November, the American people made their voices heard and re-elected Donald Trump as the 47th president of the United States. 3rd time's a charm for Boeing to successfully launch its Starliner capsule with astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams on board. Their stay on the International Space Station was extended when NASA was forced to bring the spacecraft back to Earth without them due to a technical issue. 2024 was a year of unexpected stars, though no star shined brighter than the GOAT herself and the rest of the Golden Girls on the Olympic stage. I'm Lee Waldman reporting.
Some of that stuff feels like it happened like 10 years ago.
I think we might have lived about 40 lives since the beginning of this year.
During that story, Braden, Blaze, and I were both going, oh yeah,
that did. That was this year?
That was this year.
Can't even believe it.
All right, good things to come in 2025,
Let's
hopefully.
hope so.
Well, coming up on Live at 4, from the courtroom to the kitchen.
Will Loper shows us 3 things to watch when we come back.
As we approach the holidays, we know that you may be looking to wow your family with some new recipes.
Well, Gordon Ramsay's festive home cooking Hulu show could be just what you're looking for. Will Loper shows us that and more in this week's 3 Things to Watch.
1 year ago, on October 25th, the defendant, James Scythe, and his then girlfriend, Kendall Carter, they had a fight. And he's going to pay for what he did.
Find yourself in a moral dilemma with Juror Number 2, newly streaming on Max.
It was raining, and I hit something. I checked, I didn't see anything, and I figured it was a deer that ran off.
The 2024 film stars Nicholas Hoult as a man called to jury duty, but he discovers he could influence the verdict and the fate of the accused killer.
What are you telling me? Maybe I didn't hit a deer.
Welcome to a world beyond imagination.
Immerse yourself in the animal kingdom with The Secret Lives of Animals, newly streaming on Apple TV+.
We go undercover in their world and reveal.
This is my home. This is my kitchen. My rules are simple. Home cooking has to be easy. It's got to be fast. It's got to be delicious.
And join Chef Gordon Ramsay for some so-called easy holiday recipes with a 3-episode series, Festive Home Cooking, newly streaming on Hulu.
Kicking off, a sensational, easy festive dinner, beef fillet with salsa verde and truffled new potatoes, followed by a delicious chocolate and pistachio semifreddo.
Can I use a microwave with any of these?
Wow, that's really nice.
It's not even cooked yet.
For Live at 4, I'm Will Loper.
Well, I certainly want to learn from him, but does he call you an idiot sandwich in this show?
He might.
Or is he nicer?
He might. That's the feature. It's interactive that way.
That is fun.
Cool kitchen.
Well, coming up on Live at 4, hundreds of local high school students walk out today in honor of ALCS shooting victims.
Meryl Hubbard shows us what participants have to say when we come back.
watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Welcome back to Live at 4. Look at that. Is that the lake frozen over?
That's the bay, Monona Bay.
Oh, yeah.
So it's getting there.
Yeah. Maybe be careful if you're going to go out there. That looks like there may be still some water there.
You don't want to go ice fishing?
I'm not really an ice fishing girl. But it is going to be a chilly weekend, so if you are going to go ice fishing, you might be saying brr.
Brr.
Is that right, Blaze?
You're just going to let us keep talking?
We can keep going.
No, carry on. I don't want to interrupt. Yes, it's going to be at least a chilly start to the weekend, especially tonight into your Saturday. Sunday onwards, we do start to warm on up above freezing during the daytime, so if you do want to be ice fishing, just be careful. Again, no ice is 100% safe, but it has to be at least 4 inches thick, I believe, to have a person stand on it. Some folks picked up over a half a foot of snow Thursday into Friday, marking for at least most of us, I think it's safe to say, our first real big snowfall of December, except for across southern parts of the state. That's where we are anticipating lesser amounts of snow to fall. And you can see here by our snow vision estimated accumulations that that's where those lighter blues are, indicating that lesser amount of snow. Further to the north and east, especially into the kind of Fond du Lac area, if not Dodge County, that's where those winds were coming off of Lake Michigan, bringing us more of that heavier snow. And again, those are just estimations. I don't think anybody got over a foot of snow, but that just shows you where the heaviest snow did fall as compared to where maybe not so much snow fell. As I mentioned, a little bit cooler into your Saturday, low to mid 20s, partly sunny, a few flurries possible, turning more mostly cloudy maybe into the afternoon. Sunday, breezy, those winds turn out of the south, so we are going to start to warm on up as we go into the day before Christmas Eve and then really onwards, actually. We'll talk about the big warm up in the full forecast, but quickly here, we're going to be heading into the single digits to the low teens tonight with wind chill values maybe at or just slightly below 0 degrees.
Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes will no longer lead the department. The mayor of Seattle released a statement today saying Barnes would serve as his city's chief of police.
Since the announcement, we have heard from Barnes in a video message to the people of Seattle.
It is both an honor and a privilege to take on this role. And I want to first extend my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for your selfless public service and commitment to excellence. Unfortunately, I cannot be there to greet you in person due to the tragic circumstances we're currently facing here in Madison.
Now, Barnes has not made comments to Madison's community specifically. This news comes just days after a 15-year-old shot and killed one of her classmates and a teacher at Abundant Life Christian School. A statement from the department's public information officer says Barnes is focused on supporting the families of ALCS, and he will not be saying anything about Seattle at this time. He'll speak about his service in Madison over the past 4 years later. Madison's Police and Fire Commission will choose an interim chief to serve during its search to fill that role permanently. And in the wake of this week's news, students in Madison are standing up against gun violence.
Merrill Hubbard talked with high school students who did a walkout this morning in solidarity with Abundant Life Christian School.
Here at West High, hundreds of MMSD students are starting their march to support Abundant Life Christian School and protest against gun violence. Students from West gave speeches in front of their school before leading the peaceful protest. Then the long line of students walked over 2 miles to the Capitol, chanting things like "books, not bullets," and "end gun violence." This movement comes 5 days after the school shooting at Abundant Life, a tragedy that has hit our community and a reality that these students are surrounded by.
I have never lived in a world where there hasn't been a school shooting, where that hasn't been a threat. I was born in 2007. I grew up with the Columbine shooting, with all of this violence around me. And I talked to my parents and they're like, I would have never imagined that there was this much hate.
MMSD students say they are heartbroken to see an act of gun violence in their community and that they walk to support the families and lives lost at Abundant Life. The crowd wrapped up their march at the state capitol with more student speakers. Reporting in Madison, Merrill Hubbard, News 3 Now.
And tonight at 6, we'll hear more from these student protesters to hear how they feel seeing an act of gun violence hit so close to home.
A 12-year-old in Belleville is in police custody after allegedly making plans to harm school staff. The Belleville School District alerted police to the threat just before 3:30 Monday afternoon. One of the student's classmates had come forward and told the school staff about the threat. Police arrested the student and took them to the juvenile court. They are now facing charges of disorderly conduct and making terroristic threats. Police say there is no further threat to the school at this time. Wall Street bouncing back today. U.S. stocks rose, the Dow jumping 498, the Nasdaq up 200, and the S&P 500 up 64.
As last-minute holiday shopping is underway, you may want to check those shipping deadlines. Tomorrow is the last holiday shipping deadline to get your gifts to its destination by December 25th. This is for Priority Mail Express, so your package can be delivered the next day or two, or within 2 days. The Madison postmaster says this is actually her favorite time of year.
It is exciting. It is very, very fulfilling and rewarding. This is the time of year that we live for. We love it here in the Postal Service to have those customers come into our lobby.
To check to make sure your package is on the way to its destination, you can go to USPS.com.
Well, coming up on Live at 4, it's almost the weekend in the 608.
Woo! That means our Josh Sprider has 3 things to do with your family. On the next Live at 4, a big weekend at the box office.
Will Loper brings us his reviews in this Monday's Loper Report.
Well, it's almost the weekend in the 608, which has a lot of us celebrating the end of another week in southern Wisconsin.
You know how we were talking about we feel like we lived 40 lives this year? I feel like I've lived 40 lives this week.
Long, long week.
I am so happy for the weekend to be here. Josh Sprider is in studio with 3 things you can do with your family this weekend.
Well, it is the weekend before Christmas. Now's the time to support all of your favorite holiday traditions. I'm featuring just a few of them today. We begin in Janesville, where 147 decorated trees fill the Lincoln Tallman Museum at the Rock County Historical Society's annual holiday tree show. Each tree is sponsored and decorated by local businesses, nonprofits, and individuals. Those tours include several new highlights, including a scavenger hunt for children and holiday activity booklets for extra fun. Santa is also available for photos through December 23rd. Families, individuals, even pets are welcome to enter the mansion at no cost and take a photo with Santa before hitting the road. The tree show dates are Thursdays through Sundays through December 30th. If you're going for that tour, tickets are $15 or free for anyone 12 and under. Just down the road from there is the Holiday Light Show at Rotary Botanical Gardens in Janesville. Over 1.6 million lights illuminate the garden paths in a display of holiday cheer. They're open every night from 4:30 to 8:30, minus Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. They're also closed New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Tickets are $15 for adults, $5 for kids, and those 2 and under are free. Proceeds support the preservation and maintenance of the gardens throughout the year. Finally, all aboard the Holiday Express. Enjoy large-scale model trains from the Wisconsin Garden Railway Society chugging through a festive scene at Oberk Botanical Gardens in Madison. They're open every day except for Christmas Day from now through the 31st. This year, trains weave through a magical landscape of candy-colored poinsettias surrounding a tempting array of sugary treats. Count me in. Admission is $8 for adults, $5 for kids, and those under 5 are free. For more holiday happenings in the 608 this season, you can visit channel3000.com. In the 608, I'm Josh Breiter, News 3 Now.
What are you going to do first?
I don't know, but count me in for all of it.
Okay, just charging through the weekend.
Anything fun. The holiday lights sound great to me.
Yeah.
I was saying I should go through the Olin Park ones again because I love looking at all what the different companies do with those and stuff.
It's very pretty.
Fun.
Yeah. Well, coming up on Live at 4, if you don't know what to make for your holiday get-together, put down the takeout menu. We have you covered.
Angie Horgan is here to help you beef up your buffet. Woo-hoo.
Well, here's a little secret. You don't have to be super fancy for your holiday guests. We have a few simple recipes that won't keep you chained to the kitchen.
And your guests, they'll never even know.
Yeah, just tell them that you've spent all day.
Angie Horkin from the Wisconsin Beef Council showed Brady a few delicious dishes.
Well, the whole studio smells delicious, so you know Angie Horkin with the Wisconsin Beef Council is here. Hi.
Hello, happy holidays.
Happy holidays, too. And we are going to, what, beef up the holidays this year?
We're going to beef up the holidays, Brady. So I've got the most popular beef roast for Wisconsin for this time of year. It's a boneless ribeye roast.
Look at that.
So, like, when you go out to eat on Saturday night and go to your favorite supper club and you order prime rib, that's essentially what this is. But prime rib is kind of the name of the finished dish. But in the supermarket, you want to buy a boneless ribeye roast, or you can definitely get this with bones. It's totally your preference. You want to get a choice. And I like to tell people to take a little stress out of it. Call ahead. Or stop in ahead of time. Make friends with your meat department personnel this time of year. If you haven't already, they can help you choose a roast and help you with serving size, how big you want for how many people. Do you want a lot of leftovers? Do you have a lot of adults? Are you having a lot of side dishes? Just stuff like that.
Because I have an issue with that, because even though if I kind of know what I want when I'm looking at all of this stuff, there's, like you said, the price point, how many people will this feed? So that would take out a lot of stress.
It would, and then you order it, and then you can just go pick it up. You know, Christmas is Wednesday, pick it up Monday next week. But perfect for Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, even New Year's. Another roast very popular this time of year is a tenderloin.
Yes, I've done this before
yes,
because
you have, and you've done the gremolata.
Yeah, and it was really good. Go find that recipe.
Yes. So really, to make those roasts, you just need a roasting pan and a rack. Now, if you buy a bone-in rib, you essentially don't need the rack because your bones will act like a rack, but you're gonna do a dry heat. So 350 degrees for a ribeye. Cover it with whatever you like. This recipe here that we have today is so easy. I covered it with a little Dijon mustard to act as a binder, similar to like smoking recipes. And then I took a half of a bag of croutons just from the supermarket, and they're a cheese and garlic flavor, and put them in the food processor, and then use that to coat the roast.
So you get a little crust there.
Yeah, you get a little crust. Then insert an oven-safe meat thermometer. So another great tip, find a thermometer you're comfortable with. This is a simple, just $6.99 dial thermometer. There's plenty out there that are Bluetooth, that are fancy like that.
But you need the bare, just the bare.
Yeah, because this is, I like to pull it out 135 and then let it rest 15, 20 minutes. Let those juices settle down. It'll continue to raise to 145, which is what I have here. Then in the last half hour of cooking, I roasted some green beans along with, and I saved some of the crouton mixture and just tossed those with a little extra virgin olive oil on the beans.
Those will be good. That's kind of like the fun part of your veggies. You have your veggies, but you can dress them up a little
bit. And don't forget appetizers. So if you need some appetizer recipes, this is a fun meatball recipe. 3-ingredient sauce, apricot, preserves, barbecue sauce, and a little Dijon.
Okay, so a little sweet, little spicy.
A little sweet, a little spicy, and a little sour too. With
I like that.
Yeah.
And those are always such a crowd pleaser. You know, if you're serving beef at a function and maybe you want to stretch your dollar, that's a good way.
That is a great way. I do get some prime rib calls this time of year. We joke about the prime rib hotline, but give me a call. I'll try and get back to you and help you out so you have a great holiday meal.
I love that prime rib hotline. Very good. Well, thank you very much, and I hope that you have a wonderful set of holidays coming up.
Thank you. You too.
What are you going to make?
I don't know. I might need to use that prime rib hotline.
Yeah.
Sounds like they got some good tips.
Yeah.
Because we are prime rib girls.
Yes. Oh, every weekend we're getting that prime rib.
Every weekend.
More like hamburger helper, but that's fine.
Blaze, are you a prime rib girl?
I don't think I've ever had a prime rib. But Brady, did you save that? Did you save the food that you just previewed?
Yeah, it's been chilling out in the fridge for a few days.
Well, maybe now I can try some. I don't think I ever have. I don't know. I really like ham, though.
Ham?
Ooh, okay. All right.
Fantastic.
There we go. On to weather. It is going to be a cold Friday night into Saturday because of that fresh snow. We do have a rain snow chance, not only Monday, but also into Christmas towards the end of the day. And that really is out ahead of not only warmer temperatures, but also near daily chances for rain. So let's, after talking about Christmas, kind of talk about what comes after into the start of the new year. Both Christmas Eve and Christmas, we're expecting temperatures in the low to mid 30s, light winds both days, but turning out of the south on on Christmas. So again, that's going to bring us that chance more into the evening and overnight for not only a rain-snow mix, but then that turns over to rain. And those near daily rain chances stick with us not only Thursday, but Friday, Saturday, into that following Sunday and Monday after Christmas. Watch as the future track takes us through Thursday into Friday, into Saturday, and then further into Sunday. We're going to be watching as we essentially are opening up the Gulf of Mexico. And that really just means more moisture is moving northwards, and really a streamline of southerly winds are going to bump our temperatures from the 30s to the 40s to maybe even the 50s as we go into the weekend after Christmas. I think 50s are going to be a little bit hard, especially if we keep the snow on the ground, but certainly mid 40s, if maybe not the upper 40s, will be possible because of just that constant southerly flow or southerly winds moving up those warmer temperatures. In fact, the 26th through December 30th, we sit underneath a near 100% chance of warmer than average temperatures. That bullseye of dark red over not only Wisconsin, but Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota. And if we extend that out into those first few days of 2025, that bullseye maybe just becomes a little bit smaller, but stays over Wisconsin. Again, we're looking at a 80 to 90% chance of warmer than average temperatures as we go from the end of the year into the start of 2025. Not only are our daytime temperatures starting to become warmer than average starting on Sunday through that following weekend, but our overnight lows are also going to be well above average. And that's kind of where we see these, our daily average temperature become warmer than average because of our overnight lows. We're expecting overnight lows, and you'll see it in our 10-day forecast, to be in the 30s, when this time of year we should be in those upper teens. So that's really contributing, and what will likely contribute to a set of warmer than average days starting from probably the 26th through the end of December into the start of the new year. But here's a look at kind of how the month has transpired so far. We've had a handful of cooler than average days and a handful of warmer than average days. Right now we're trending just about a degree cooler than average from the start of the month through yesterday's date. And with the recent cold air, we've got some snowy owls making it as far south as northern Dane County. Thank you, Carla, for taking this photo. I saw the snowy owls when they were here in Madison a couple of years ago. I will try to get out and maybe see one. I think they're just so pretty. But I wanted to share that photo with you guys. As I mentioned, warmer than average temperatures starting after Christmas as our overnight lows flirt with the 40s by our following weekend after Christmas, and our daytime highs in those low to mid 40s starting on Thursday.
Right now, the House is voting on a stopgap funding bill in an attempt to stop the federal government from shutting down just hours before the midnight deadline.
If passed, the bill will extend government funding into March. It includes disaster relief and farming provisions, but does not include the suspension of debt limit, which Trump has been demanding his party will address. We'll keep you updated on what happens right here on News 3 Now. We'll be right back.
Will you check that third headline? Just